I am Ramya, Assistant Professor of English, JJ College of Arts and Science, Autonomous. And in this presentation, we see the two mystical love poems of Sri Aurobindo, God and Transformation. We shall move to his biography. Sri Aurobindo was an Indian philosopher, yogi, guru, poet, and nationalist. He joined the Indian movement for independence from British rule. For a while was one of its influential leaders and then became a spiritual reformer, introducing his visions on human progress and spiritual evolution. Aurobindo studied for the Indian Civil Service at King's College, Cambridge, England. After returning to India, he took up various civil service works under the Maharaja of the princely state of Baroda and became increasingly involved in nationalist politics in the Indian National Congress and the nascent revolutionary movement in Bengal with the Anushlan Samiti. At Pondicherry, Sri Aurobindo developed a spiritual practice called integral yoga. The central theme of his vision was the evolution of human life into a divine life. He believed in a spiritual realization that not only liberated but transformed human nature, enabling a divine life on earth. In 1926, with the help of his spiritual collaborator Mira Alfaza, he founded the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. His main literary works are The Life Divine, which deals with the theoretical aspects of integral yoga, and Synthesis of Yoga, which deals with practical guidance to integral yoga, and then Savitri, a legend and a symbol, an epic poem. Now come to the stanzas. Thou who pervadest all the worlds below, yet sits above, master of all who work and rule and know, servant of love. Thou who disdainest not the worm to be, nor even the cloud, therefore we know by that humility that thou art God. In this poem, God, the poet expresses his mystical love. It is a short, simple poem. The poet says that God is dwelling above the world, but he is also found out to be widespread in this world. He masters and rules of the tasks in this world. He also serves pure love, and hence he is also referred as servant of love. According to the poet, nobody or not even worm or cloud in this world is condemned. Therefore, according to humility, the poet says that thou art God, which means that you are God. Transformation is a sonnet by Sri Aurobindo. Now come to the stanzas. My breath runs in a subtle rhythmic stream. It fills my members with the might divine. I have drunk the infinite like a giant's wine. Time is my drama or my pageant dream. Now are my illumined cells joy's flaming scheme, and changed my thrilled and branching nerves to find channels of rapture, opal, and hyaline for the influx of the unknown and the supreme. I am no more a vassal of flesh, a slave to nature and her leaden rule. I am caught no more in the senses, narrow mesh. My soul unhorizoned widens to measureless sight. My body is God's happy living tool, my spirit a vast sun of deathless light. Sri Aurobindo preached and practiced integral yoga. The aim of this yoga was to bring the supermind from on high into the plane of human consciousness and bring about a complete transformation of the personality. In this poem Transformation, the poet gives a beautiful and vivid picture of the transformation that takes place in a yogi's personality. He describes how the yogi transcends time and space and how he feels tremendous power in the body. Every cell in his body becomes a divine spark and his nerves function like the strings of a finely tuned musical instrument. The yogi's body and senses are now absolutely under his control. His soul feels free to soar into the limitless space. He becomes totally free from egoism and he begins to consider himself to be just a tool in the hands of God. The yogi thus feels tremendous power, intense joy, great wisdom, and a deep humility. Now, in this picture, you can view his concept of integral yoga. At the beginning of the sonnet, Sri Aurobindo describes how the practice of the pranayama, the science of breathing, fills the yogi's body with tremendous power. The pranayama cleanses the nerves. Normally, the life current flows through the two channels of Ida and Pingala. But through pranayama, the other yogic techniques, the central nerve called Sushumna is opened up. The prana or the life current now starts traveling up the Sushumna. As a result, the whole physiology of the yogi undergoes a transformation. Every limb and every organ feels a tremendous strength. The yogi feels that he has imbibed a celestial drink that gives him the strength of a giant. The yogi transcends time. Time loses its constricting nature for him. He now becomes the master and not the servant of time. Every cell in the yogi's body glows with divine light. His whole nervous system is filled with ecstasy. It is as if a precious stone like opal or hyaline is flashing its variegated colors. The yogi feels that the mighty divine has transformed his nerves to find channels of rapture for the inflow of the Supreme. When this spiritual transformation takes place, the yogi becomes the absolute master of his body and senses. He transcends nature's law and his soul feels free to soar into the limitless space. He feels free from all egoism and he begins to consider himself to be just a tool in the hands of God. His soul becomes filled with the radiance which might even the sun, who must die one day, can give. In this sonnet Transformation, Sri Aurobindo has briefly given us an idea of the bliss and power that the yogi experiences when the spiritual transformation takes place in him. He has made use of beautiful imagery to convey this experience to us. Now, the critical analysis of the poem. First, the poet says that the poet's breath, that means his life, is like a stream, and all his limbs are filled up with the divine spirit. His heart is devoted to spiritual thought, and he is mad of spiritual, lofty thought, as a drunkard is of wine. The world for him is a stage, and his days on the earth is a drama which he has been playing since his birth. All his limbs are illumined by God's Spirit, and this Spirit has changed his nerves and makes a channel to communicate with the divine soul, and thus his heart fills up with excessive joy, not earthly but divine. Secondly, the poet says that as his heart is spiritually uplifted, so his soul, it is now not a slave to his flesh. Instead, his soul is the slave to nature or the divine soul, and now he is being guided not by his desire but by spiritual thought. The poet's body and flesh is caught by divine soul. His heart is widened to infinite. The poet believes that his soul arrives at immortality. The divine soul has entered into his heart, and hence his soul itself becomes a source of light. The mystic thought expressed in the poem is the highest stage of spiritual thought, but the mysticism is not possible to be perceived by all. Only a heart full of piety can perceive it. Poet has succeeded in perceiving it fully.